Hello, so this is my disability book presentation. So if you can see my front cover, the title is Adam's Story, and I drew a little picture of a boy, stick figure right there, because it is a boy. If you open up the first page, it says based on a true story. So this is actually based on a true story of a student that I worked with when I was in high school for 3 years. Um, I didn't use his real picture. I didn't use his real name, only because I based it off of how I felt about him, and so I didn't want him to get the wrong idea in case he would ever see this book or if someone else knew him and saw this book. So that's basically where I got my idea from. And so if you turn to the first page, there's a picture of me and the class. I don't specifically point him out because I wanted to make sure that people don't know exactly who I'm talking about. But I also kind of edited it and made it look like a cartoon type of picture, if you can see that, so that it fits more of the story and doesn't seem like it's too much of real life, because I'm not him and I don't know how he was feeling during certain points of his life, but I kind of based my thoughts on what I would feel like and what I've already seen from him in the classroom. So, the first page says, "Hi, my name is Adam, and I'm on the autism spectrum." Another thing I did with my book is that I underlined each of the 40 facts or words that I used from the IRIS website. So if you can see that, I underlined that, highlighted it. So throughout the story, I have that. I'm not going to show you every single one, but surely, hopefully, we come back and I can actually give you my book and you can see all of the facts that I highlighted in here, but I'm sure you can hear them when I read the story. So then, autism is a developmental disability that significantly affects verbal and nonverbal communication and social interaction. Being on the autism spectrum means that I have a range of abilities that I can and cannot do, just like you. I have trouble paying attention, learning in the classroom, and controlling my behavior. And so on this page, I drew a picture of a boy, and instead of words coming out of his mouth, it's just lines because he has trouble communicating. And then for the social interactions, I have a boy and then a boy and a girl right here talking. They're ignoring him while he's trying to say hi. Because I was a little behind in elementary school, my teachers decided to complete an evaluation to see if I would qualify to be in my current classroom. So then I have a boy right here, and he's thinking about what the ABCs are, and he puts a question mark when he can't figure it out. And then the numbers 1, 2, 3, and then he put 5 with a question mark. Again, this isn't meant to insult him if anyone were to figure out who it was. It's just kind of to give the reader an idea of being behind in elementary school and what that would mean. So the next page says, the evaluation showed that I do have a developmental delay. So the teacher had to have a consultation with my mother and decide the next steps. So then here I drew Adam's evaluation, and I put qualified in big red, that it looks like a stamp kind of thing. My mother agreed, so I had to transition from elementary school to the high school where my new classroom would be. It was hard to transition from one class to another. One thing that the school tries to do is include me in as many activities with the kids in my grade as possible. This is called inclusion. So here I just drew a little elementary school building and then little steps up to the high school. I even get to eat lunch, go to music and art class, and go to recess with them. And so here is a boy sitting with his friend at lunch. He's holding a bag of chips. There's a table, and his friend is eating a cookie. So, in the classroom that I am in now, I receive intervention support. With this support, the teacher's lesson plan gets modified to meet my needs. So here I drew a lesson plan, and the X's are what like an average lesson plan would go with. It's the same color as the lesson plan page itself. And then I drew underneath it Adam, and then it has circles and a different color, just to show that his part on the lesson plan is different from the original. How it all works is that my IEP, in parentheses, individualized education plan, team, which includes my teacher, principal, speech therapist, psychologist, my mom, and myself, started the IEP process when I was just 6 years old. On my IEP, there are specific outcomes or IEP goals that can change whenever they are accomplished. This could range from 3 times in 1 year to once a year. So then here I drew a picture of Adam, and then I have his psychologist, speech therapist, mom, teacher, and principal. They all have different colors, kind of ranging from boys and girls, just to show that all those people surround him in the IEP process. At my specific school, children like me are in a self-contained classroom, more commonly known as the multiple disabilities room. So then here I kind of drew, like, this is the rest of the school with a whole bunch of kids that can interact, and then he is in a self-contained classroom that is not allowed to interact with them. Being in the self-contained classroom means you get to know all of your classmates pretty well. Maybe a little too well. I've gotten to become friends with some other students in the class that have other gifts just like me. For example, one girl has an intellectual disability and a boy in the class has a learning disability. So then here I drew a gift box and it says Adam, and then a bunch of other different gift boxes that have different colors, just to show that they all do have gifts and they are all special, regardless if they're in a different classroom or not. When I am in the classroom, the school has accommodations ready for me every day. For example, I have trouble staying awake, so the teachers gave me the back room that they put a bed in for me to take a 5-minute nap throughout the day. I use a typing device for me to print out my answers since it is hard for me to write. I also use a speech device for when I want to say something and the teacher does not understand me. So here I drew a bed and a student sleeping on the bed, because I thought that was a big accommodation for the specific classroom that he was in, and I thought it really helped him out, and it was really special that the teachers did that. All of these devices are called assistive devices. They provide me with extra assistance to complete my tasks during the school day when necessary. So I drew a task list and checked all of the boxes. Throughout the day, I find myself having a hard time paying attention. This is referred to as attention deficit. So here I drew Adam is right here, and you can see he has different things on his mind, like the weekend, dinner, lunch, and then up here is his teacher yelling Adam. But obviously he doesn't pay attention to that because he has a lot of other things on his mind. My teachers have behavior expectations for me. However, when something does not go my way, I enter the agitation phase of the acting out cycle. During this time, I have trouble communicating how I feel, and because I have a mild case of Asperger's syndrome, this acting out often includes screaming, stomping, crying, and or cussing. So here I drew the acting out cycle with the slope, and then each different phase of the acting out cycle is in a different color. When I was in elementary school, I would get rewarded for good behavior. When I got my work done, I would take a nap in my schoolroom for 5 minutes or get to have a snack. This is referred to as behavior-specific praise. So then here I just drew an arrow of he could either have the bed or he could have a snack, and again I drew just a bag of chips. In my current classroom, I have been doing well with my behavior. I've had a few incidences in this class here and there. It can be very difficult for me to follow the many rules that my school and classroom have. So here I just drew a rules list and I numbered it and then just made up some lines to show that there's rules. Here, the teachers problem solved and put me on a token economy, which rewards me for my good behavior to hopefully help me with my behavior problems in the future. So then for this page, I drew, that's Adam, there's this teacher, she's saying good job and handing him some sort of reward. To help with my emotional regulations, my teachers have created these cards for me to use to calm me down when I feel annoyed, angered, or agitated. When I act out, I take the cards and go for a walk in the hallway. The duration time of my outbursts and debrief together could last up to 20 minutes. When I am in the hallway, my teacher takes that time to debrief the class from my outburst. So here I drew a bunch of emotions that he could feel when he starts having an outburst. And then I drew an arrow to the time. And then here is kind of like a thermometer type of thing that it's going from 10 down to 0. So that's like meaning the debrief time. Some days the student helpers come in to be my peer tutor and work with me on my reading comprehension. They help improve my motivation during school. So here is the peer tutor, and there's Adam holding a textbook. So pretty simple for that one. For this one, I really like Fridays because my teacher has us participate in career exploration. So far, I've decided that I want to be a Pizza Hut delivery man. So here I do kind of a calendar that says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then on Friday, we have Pizza Hut in a Pizza Hut box, just to show that that's what he wants to do on Friday. I am a really smart kid, and some people tell me that I have a gift. I guess that means that I can say I'm gifted and proud. So here I drew a picture of Adam again, and then here is him holding a gift to signify that he is gifted and he's very special, but he is very proud of it and he is aware of all of his struggles and his gifts as well. But I kind of wanted to end the book kind of on a happy note. I know that it wasn't easy to hear a few of the things that him saying, like the transition from elementary to high school is kind of hard. I can only assume that. But from what I have seen in the classroom, I did base a lot of it off of what I've seen in the classroom and what I already know about him. If not, I just kind of took an educated guess on what I should fill in for that specific page. So now I have the vocabulary that I printed out from each of the words that I used in the story, and this just goes on for a few pages. And then we have the disability resources. So this is where I got my other resources, my other 6. And this is like more information about IEPs. These resources are more about the disabilities that I talked about in the story, because I didn't feel that the IRIS website really went into depth about those, and I felt like if I was going to give a definition, I should use a different resource. That would be very helpful, and if people wanted to also go onto the website, I do have it located underneath where I found it. And then, of course, I have my bibliography. So there's that, and that is the end. So thank you for listening to my Adam's Story Disability book presentation, and I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully in April we can come back to class and I can actually turn it into you and you can actually take a look at it for yourself. But thank you.